start recording. That should be fine. And one more I want to start. My laptop is going slow now. Okay, let's play this guy. Come on, yes. We have it. This person here. Let's go. What do you want me to do? You want me to go ahead and start with next data structures or solve questions about strings which we have done last time? What do you want me to do? Come on, fast.
Strings.
String pattern questions you are able to solve. Copy. Paste it somewhere here. Let's see. Perfect. Let me open it here. Okay. Let me go back here. Let me open Dayton in our all-time favorite VS Code. Perfect. So let's solve some questions. I'll just tell you some journey, okay, of these data structures what we are studying and why we are studying data structures. Then we'll start with questions. See, we are studying data structures, right? Data structures, or you call it as data types. We have already seen that there is something called as primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are those data types which cannot be divided into further, and non-primitives are those which can be basically divided into further categories, right? Like arrays and all those kind of stuff. So we are doing this, we are learning lot of data structures. So question is, why are we learning lot of data structures? We studied with basic, int, float, we studied with complex, int, float, char, complex. These all are primitive. Very simple. Then we are studying now some complex ones. List we studied tuple. We are going to study something called as dictionary. We are going to study one more, which is set. Okay, these are 4 powerful data structures of Python. Okay, 4 powerful weapons of Python. Okay, very important. 4 powerful weapons of Python. These are all non-primitive in nature. We have studied this all, this. We are left with only 2. That is what we will study, and we will see lots of projects as well as lots of questions on how to basically work on these all data structures and all. What is the need of all these data structures? The need of data structures is that we want to store data, because the data in a real world itself is so many different categories that we don't have only integers in a data, right? We don't have only floating points in a data. Just go and check in your real world what kind of data are available. What are the different types of data that is there? You just go and check. You itself will understand that you have integer, you have floating point, you have characters, you have strings, you have lists, you have arrays. You are storing such complex things. You have data like object also. This is also a data. Okay, so you have this is actually an object. It is a water bottle, right? Water bottle is an object. Human beings are also. How do you store human beings inside computers? We don't know, still we have not learned how do you store human beings inside computers. Have we learned how do you store 5 roll numbers inside computers? Yes, we have learned. So why we are actually learning data structures? The whole point of learning data structures is that we have this so much amazing complex kind of data in a real world, and we want to learn how do we actually store this data into computers. Why we want to learn to store data into computers? Very simple, because if we are able to store this data into the computers, we can ask computer to do some work on that data, and we know that it is going to do it much more faster than us, right? So, damn simple. That is why we are learning data structures. That is the importance of data structures. Okay, I hope you got this point. Different data structures that are available, because if we organize the data into different structures, right, different categories, in medical shop you go and if you see the medicines have been basically kept in small compartments with their labels, right? Why is it done? Because searching on the data becomes much more faster, sorting the data becomes much more faster because of that. Because whenever we want to figure out, right, some data, that time it will be easier to figure out where it is. Because we want to figure out where the medicine is, it is much easier to figure out because he has kept a label there which medicines are placed where. So that is what we are doing in programming also. We are storing the data into this small buckets, and this each bucket is called as data structure, because tomorrow if someone tells you to find the integer data, you will go and search only in the integer bucket and not in the character bucket. You will go and search only inside that bucket. Similarly, we have lots of data structures. We have graphs, we have trees which are non-linear data structures. These all arrays and all these kind of data structures which are learning are linear, because they are, if you see how they are arranged, is one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, so they are called as linear. If you see trees and graphs, they are arranged in some different ways itself, so it is called as non-linear data structures. We have linked list, we have queues, all these are linear data structures. Different are there, lots of data structures are available, okay? We have linked list, we have queues, we have trees, we have graphs. These are like very popular and powerful one data structures that are available. We have sets, we have maps, all those hash maps are there. Lots of stuffs are available which you can learn, okay? But whole point of data structures is what you all should understand, and trust me, if you have a subject data structures and algorithm, because this is not a data structures and algorithm with Python bootcamp, this is only Python bootcamp where we are going to study lots of libraries and all, we are going to work lots of projects and all. But if you have a subjects of data structures and algorithms, don't skip that subject. It is one of the most important subject ever in your whole engineering, for CS people or for EC people, anyone who wants to work in IT sector. One of the most important subject ever in whole engineering, okay, will be your data structures and algorithm subject. It is a complete course in itself, okay? So let's not discuss about that, but I hope you understood what's the importance of data structures and algorithms. So we will be studying the remaining also. As I told you, the remaining ones also I'll be teaching you all. So we'll be solving some questions on strings. Let's do it today. Let's go to question section. We have first of all reverse a word. I would rather say reverse a string, reverse a sentence, or reverse a string. Let's say the simple question would be reverse a string. Okay, so let's see how to do it. I hope you all will help me to find out the solutions for this. Strings.py. Come on, how do you reverse a string? Let's say I give a string name is basically equals to my name. I told you yesterday I love my name, so I'll be always writing my name itself. How do you reverse this name? Come on, you know it, man. Like you have learned, you can do it. I feel. Don't first of all trust yourself that you can do it. How to reverse? You are late to told this. What I did not understand, Prashant. What you going to say? You are late.
ओपन इलेक्टिव्हचं सिलेक्शन कधीच 2 मंथ अगोदर झालाय तो आता सांगायला.
Okay, you are late to tell this. I think someone had asked me. I think Chelsea.
मी विचारलो.
तू विचारलास? मी डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स नाही म्हणता को म्हटलो. I don't think.
नाही तेव्हा सांगितलं नव्हतं डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स ऍक्च्युली. हे चेल्सी विचारलेली तुला. मी सायबर घेणार होतो.
बट मला जेव्हा कोण पण ऑप्शन्स दिले ना समोर डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स इज अवेलेबल, देन how much I remember, I have never said no to data structures and algorithms. I have told that it is a difficult subject. Yes, I must have told this, that it is a difficult subject, but it is the most important subject also. I will always tell this, that data structures and algorithms is very important.
तर सगळे प्रोफेसर्स तेच म्हणाले होता.
हां, important time, okay?
हो.
तू इंटरव्यूच्या क्वेश्चन्स ना बस, you will understand that all questions are coming from data structures and algorithms itself. If you don't know data structures and algorithms in CS, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. You have not learned anything then. All questions, if you have your data structures and algorithm mastered in IT, getting a job is this, चुटकी उनका खेल, ऐसे you will get job. And if along with data structures and algorithms, if you have this project का side wise, no, हो गया फिर, like there is no question. There are
आता
so many
NPTEL वर कोर्स आहे बघायला.
DSA चा.
होय डेटा स्ट्रक्चर पायथॉन अल्गोरिदम्स युजिंग पायथॉनच आहे.
Okay, 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 okay. See, however, I will when I will be, I told you right, I'll be having one guidance session for everyone, personal guidance, okay, not for over generally, but we'll speak with everyone, each and one, based upon which year you are, what current circumstances you are in, how much backlogs or how much marks you are having right now. Based upon that, I'll tell you how you can go ahead for whatever time you have left with your remaining part of your engineering. There, I'll tell you all that this whatever you are doing right now, right, Python bootcamp will make you completely feel comfortable with Python. If anyone gives you write some code in Python, you will be able to write it, okay. You will not face problems in writing code, that I am telling you, okay. And I think you have been done only till 10 days right now, but you are able to answer, you are able to write some basic programs and all those kind of stuff. So still 20 days to go. I think you will do lot of amazing stuff, okay, where you will feel comfortable with Python. After completing this, where to go, how to do, what to do, I'll tell you with resources, even free of cost resources itself. I'll tell you how you can start going free of cost. And after that also, if you have any doubts, I'm always there, right? So there is no issues with that. But after that also, what to do, where to do, how to do, I'll be sharing you everything in depth, okay. So after this, your target should be actually to complete data structures and algorithms in Python, okay. However, some of the data structures you have already finished here itself, okay, like strings, arrays, list, all this sets and all this kind of data structures you have finished. But there are some advanced data structures which I will not be covering in this bootcamp, like trees, graphs. Then there are data structures like linked list, queues, collection framework in Python is there. All those kind of stuff is there. Classes and objects, however, we will be covering. But some advanced data structures are there which are available. Like trees and graphs, you will not get rare questions unless you are sitting interviews for Google, Amazon and all those kind of stuff. You will not get questions. I can tell you that 95% of the questions will be always from arrays and strings, which we will cover it here itself, okay. But questions will be difficult. You will understand how difficult. When you read the question, right, you will go mad reading the question itself first of all. You will not understand. Forget about solving the answer. I am not demotivating you, but that is how it will be there. We'll solve some lead code questions. I'll show you there, okay. It will take time for you to understand question first. Understand and take what question they are trying to tell you, okay. Then you will start solving it. But I am telling you that you follow the roadmap, which I'll tell you all. Personally, I'll tell you all, everyone, right, on that guidance day, you will be able to do it. Like starting few days, you will feel little bit uncomfortable, but I think few days gone, you will feel, अरे बहुत easy है, हो जाएगा आराम से, because some patterns of the questions are repeating. You will find, okay. And one very important concept where you will be learning, we'll learn here recursion, okay. Recursion we'll study, but there is one more concept which is dynamic programming, which is very important. Lots of questions will be asked based upon that also, okay. I am talking about this, what I am talking is about CTCs which are greater than 6 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, all those CTCs, that is 50,000 rupees per month, somewhat like that, okay. If you are thinking of 3.5 to 4 lakh rupees, which question is, there is no question. After completing this itself, you will be able to, if you do little bit of practice, you will be able to do it, okay. Let's solve this one. We want to reverse this string. How to reverse this string? Print and show me the reverse order of this string. Print, I'll do. How to print the reverse order of this string? Come on, you know it. Think. You are able to hear me or no, first of all? I sometimes get this doubt. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Come on, I want to print it reverse. Reverse means what? From last till first I want to print. How to print it from last to first?
For loop.
For loop. Without for loop I want to do it. Yes, from for loop also you can do it. With for loop, how to do? For I in range, till what you want to run, length of the string or length of name, or you can do something like this also. But if you do like this, for I in name, if you do like this and print I, it will actually print from start till end, okay. There is no option there, it will always print from start till end itself, like if you do like that. But if you use range function for I in range, then you can make it run from reverse order also. You can tell it, move it from, start from length of the string, whatever the length of the string is there, start from there. So it will start from there, start till 0, end till 0, and do it with -1. That means it will go in reverse order. And print I, not I, print name of I. Print name of I. Why? Name of index. This I is holding index here. Whenever you are using range function, right, it is always holding index or integer value, right? So name of I, name of 0. If it is printing name of 0, it will print G. Name of -1, it will print M, something like that. Length of string. If I write here length of string, actually it should not be 0 because 0 will not be included. I will write -1. End till -1. No, it should end till 0. Okay, let's see what it will first of all print. This is not a good best way to do it, but Python. Let me go inside code. Python strings.py. We got some error. There is no length function. Type find length of string. Okay. So, oh, why?
Length of name.
Length of name. String index out of range. Okay, this error you will get lot of times. Why is it going out of range? Okay, out of range, why is it going? Let's try to track. Name, length of name. Length of name is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will you agree? This will be replaced by 6. This will be replaced by 6. Name of, then it will say I will be right now 6. First iteration I will be 6 because it is starting from 6. Name of 6. Is name of 6 available? Is name of 6 available? Come on, fast. Name of 6. Name of 6. Indexing will start from where?
No.
0.
0. Then count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 is there. 6th index is not there only. Correct? No? Correct?
Length
No?
-1.
So you should write here length of name -1. So it gave index out of range. Still giving index out of range. Forgot here I. Perfect. Come on. Yes, but it is printing something else. It is printing Y. From where it got Y? Length of name. What is length of name? -1. Length of name is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So it should print 5. So I is 5, name of 5 is M. Why is it printing? Okay, this Y is not actually coming from py. Okay, I am sorry. Python strings.py, the Y came from there. Okay, it is printing M till A. Obviously it is going to print till A itself because we have told to print till 1 here, so it is printing till here. Okay, now what if I tell it to print till -1? I think it will give wrong answer for me. Yeah, we got it wrong. Okay, so from M till G. Is this clear? Come on, answer. We have to solve lots of questions.
Yes.
Perfect. Let's try to do it in some other way. Very simple way. You know it already. Slice it. Can you slice it?
Yes.
Do it. How?
Name of
Print.
in bracket
Name of.
-1 colon
Hmm.
then colon -1.
Colon again -1. Why?
Means if we give
Oh.
space, it will take to the end.
No, if you don't give anything here, it will take not space, anything. If you don't give anything, okay, see here. If you type -1 and then you type colon and don't write anything, that means it will take till start. It will start from -1 and it will take till end. It will take till end, okay. So actually it is not going, it is going to print only M here. M here, only M. Why it is going to print M, you know, because it is going to start from -1. And if you don't give anything at the end, that means it is going to actually run till end. If you don't give anything at the start, that means it is actually going to start from starting letter. If you don't give anything at the end, that means it is going to actually end at whatever the end is there of the string. So that will not work. -1. I can just write -1 here.
-1 is to 5.
Fine, I'll write. No, it is not printing. 5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. What happened? Oh, sorry. It will not work. Why it will not work? Because you are saying start from -1, end at -6. Start from -1, end at -6 should work, I feel. No. Start from length of name -1 and end till 0 and go in reverse order. Okay, sorry, you can give the third index here and ask it to go in reverse order. I'm really sorry for that. See here. Okay, so if you want to ask it to go in reverse order, you can give that how we did for range, right? Something like that you can do it. Okay, so you can say start from -1.
G is not printing.
Sorry, G is not printing. Okay, we'll see. MATUA. Okay, end at okay, it is not taking end index. What? Let's do something like this. No. End at 0. Start from -1.
Only this much you run and check.
Only this much I'll run. Okay, fine. So start from -1 till nothing. Okay, got it. So see what will happen. Okay, if you don't write this -1. Okay, if you don't write this -1, what will happen is it will start from -1, that is here, and it will, what you have told, end where? End nowhere. Okay, so sorry, end nowhere, no, end at the last end of the string. End of the string is this itself, so it is going to print only m. It is going to print only m. Okay, because start from -1, end at the end of the string, and m itself is the end of the string, so it is going to print -1. Now, when you put this extra third parameter here -1, okay, this parameter when you put, right, you start telling it that actually we are thinking the string in reverse order first of all. Okay, so we are actually thinking the string in reverse order. Okay, so now you are telling actually now the end is not here, the end is actually here because we are thinking itself the string is first of all reversed. So now the end will be actually here. Something I did wrong. Okay, sorry, not minus, it is colon. Okay, this is one way to do it, or else you can do something like this also. Print name dot, you have some functions, and I think this also should give you the answer. No, there must be reverse function available. REVERSE, string dot reverse, string attributes as
Reverse of name.
sorry,
Name. Reverse of name.
okay, reverse of name. No,
Dot reverse of name.
no, it will not be like that.
Name dot reverse of name.
Name dot reverse of name, something like this. No, I don't think it will be like this. It will never be like this. Okay, why? Because you have told on this string I want to basically reverse it. Then again why you need to pass that string, because you have already told what the string is here. So it will not be like that. Okay, either it will be name dot, or it will be like this, or it can be like this, reverse of name. This way also it can be. Both are okay, but both will not count. Okay, but the point is we try to do it in different ways. Okay, and I think slicing was easiest way to basically look after it. Name, if I just type like this, it should reverse it. This also should reverse it. Okay, because I am telling it to print start to end. Okay, so -1 will indicate your start is here or your start is here. Is this clear?
Yes.
If you write it like this without minus, if you write it only like this, okay, by default the start is G and end is M, so it is always going to print from G to M. But if you write here minus 1. Third parameter. Okay, I repeat, this is the third parameter, not the second parameter. Don't write like this. This means something else. Okay, this means that print starting from everything till minus 1. It will print as it is, Gautam. Till minus 1 is not included. That means m is not included. Okay, so third parameter, what is there, which is called as step. This one actually is used to change the start and the end. Now the start will become m and end will become g. Okay, so it will print all the letters from start till end. Same, it will print all the letters from start till end, but only the start and the end pointer has shifted. Start is m now and end is g, because we have written minus 1 here. Is this clear?
Yes.
For everyone, is it clear?
Yes.
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 So it's damn simple in Python. You did it in one line. You could have done so much. You could have written a for loop and done lots of stuff. In other language, you did it only in one line, just using slicing concept. Just 2 colons minus 1. That's it. Your string is reversed. Looks good. One more thing. Is this possible? What will the output of this program? What is the output of this program?
Yummy, yummy.
Anyone else? Only one person? What is the output of this program? First. Aishwarya is not speaking. Aditya is not speaking. Neha is not speaking.
Me. Yummy.
Amy. Wow. Aditya?
Same.
Wow. All are very intelligent people. Suchitra? Same. Wow. Think at least one told and everyone are telling. This is Amy.
This is N.
Sorry? N will be replaced with M, you are telling, right?
Most people is N.
No, it will be name only because strings are immutable.
There he comes. He told one very important point. Strings are immutable, one. But answer what he told is wrong. It will be name only, he told. It will not be name only. What he told is right, but strings are immutable. That means we cannot reassign the value inside a string. What should be the answer? But it should be error, not name only. It will be error. Why error? String object doesn't support assignment operator. Assignment operator means what? You are trying to reassign it. Why you are trying to reassign it? Because strings are immutable. That's not possible only. Just wanted to test yesterday's concept. What I told. How much you all remembered. Perfect. Looks good. Let's try to solve. I hope you are a little bit excited in solving these questions and it is not going on boring. You are not feeling bored to solve questions. Yesterday's also we tried to solve pattern questions, right? I hope you were excited to solve all those kind of pattern questions and all. You are not bored. Remove a letter from a string from the ith location. Perfect. Remove a letter from the string from the ith location. So let's first of all take the input from the user. Let's ask him to enter some word. Input, enter some string. We are waiting for you to enter some string. Once you enter some string, we'll ask it to enter also some n value, which is the location. Which location letter you want to remove. Enter the index of letter which you want to remove. Very simple. Perfect. Looks good. So let's see how to remove this. How to remove? Come on. How to remove? Think of a logic. Pseudocode. First of all, no, forget program. Pseudocode. Who can tell me the logic? How to remove? Is this possible? Let's say I want to remove that letter and I want to print empty space. Not empty space itself, nothing. See here, if I do something like this, that means I am substituting empty space in the word of I. But if I am doing something like this, that means I am not substituting anything in that place. That means it will be nothing. That means it is same like you have removed. Can I do like
It
this?
will be error.
This will be error because strings are immutable. We cannot do this. How to do it? If you cannot substitute in the original string, what you can do is you can create a new string. Very simple. If you cannot substitute or reassign in that particular string itself something, create a new string. Simple. So what I would do is, actually there is a method, okay, string dot replace, then you write what you want to replace with and which index you want to replace with. What you want to replace? You want to replace n, that is the index. So if you just hover on this replace word, you will understand that replace is a method which takes first of all a string, returns a copy with all the occurrences of the substring old replaced by new. What all it will take? Count maximum number of occurrences to replace, -1, default value means replace all the occurrences. If optional argument, count. Okay, so it actually takes two strings. See here, replace is a method, it's a method name is replace. First parameter what it will take is old string, second parameter it will take is new string. Old string and new string basically means that I am hoping that it is actually thinking that first parameter is the string which you want to replace, second parameter is what you want to replace it with. It is going to return a new string. So I want to replace the word of word of n with empty string. Enter some string. Hello. I want to replace the h, that is the 0th location. String indices must be integers. Okay, sorry, my bad. Whatever n value I am taking was a string. I had to convert it into integer because string indices are integers. Try to give some space here. It looks very odd. Don't like this. Give your space so that it looks neat. Come on. Now see how it looks. Hello. Remove h letter, that is the 0th location index. H letter I want to remove. Perfect. Got this one. Is this clear?
Yes.
So this method, replace method, you can use whenever you want to basically replace any string, any letters of that string. If you want to replace, you can replace it with the help of replace method, and you can write what is the string which you want to replace and with what letter. What is the string which you want to replace? What is the position which you want to replace and with what you want to replace? If I could write here maybe h, or if I could write here equal to, it could replace it with equal to. See here, very simple. Okay, so somewhat join also was doing something right. There was two strings, and in that two strings join was actually trying to play some role. It was doing join empty. Want to join it with word. So word, whatever the word will be there, right? Word of, I can say I want to join it with word of I. Oh no, I think this will not work. This will give me some other output itself. I'm sure it will give some other output. Yes, okay, so this is wrong. Okay, so I hope you got the point. Print word dot replace. What you want to replace? I want to replace word of n, and I want to replace it with empty, nothing. That's how we can get this. Let's comment out this one. So this is solution to question number 2. Very simple. It was, we are able to do it. Question 2. Very simple. Let's nail down question 3. Sound bigger. Let's do question 3. Question 3. Go back here. Check. Question 1 is done. Check if a string is palindrome or not. Come on fast. This question, I think if you are not able to tell, come on, like. This is the string. Check if palindrome or not. Now. Silence, huh? Hello everyone, I am there.
Like we know how to reverse this tree.
Then over, no, done. The main logic is reversing itself. That's it. How will you write a program for it? Now, tell me, how do you first of all reverse it?
Like the string name.
So I will create a variable. Reverse string is equal to word.
Word square brackets.
Something like
Colon,
this.
colon, -1. Yes.
Very simple. Yes. Now tell me how to check whether it is a palindrome or not.
If reverse string
If word is equal to
reverse
string, simple print, it is palindrome. Palindrome. Hey, come on. Palindrome, else print not palindrome. Not palindrome. Very simple, nothing much difficult here. Is this clear?
yes.
Anyone having any doubts? You don't ask questions now, I feel bad. I want you to ask questions which I don't have answers, so that even I can learn something from you. Question 4. Check if a word exists in a string or not. Come on, this if you don't tell me now, then what you sat yesterday and did. Let's take a sentence. Hello, Gautam. This is Rahul. Perfect, looks good. Tell me, I want to check whether word to check is actually let's say Rahul. You have to check whether Rahul word is there in this string or not.
Is alpha.
What?
Is alpha.
Is alpha. How? You tell me the program. Actually, don't hard code it. Take input.
Is find.
Is find. Find is not there. Yesterday where I told find.
Is
Find is there.
Find is there.
is alpha.
Check find is there or what? Is alpha. Tell me how to write the program. Come on, how to write the program? It's simple. Yesterday, whatever you have learned, no, make a small points of all those
Print.
things. Huh?
Print.
In and not out.
The
In
string.
and not operator, exactly. So simple it is. Check if word to check. Whatever the word to check is there, if it is in sentence, we are done. Print word is present, else print word is not present. If word to check in sentence, we have checked no yesterday to use in and not operator to check whether something is there in one string or I have told yesterday clearly something is there in one string or not. How do you check? Using in operator. Let's try it. Enter a sentence. Hello, and I am good. Search for a string. Good. Yes, word is present. Let's check for something which is not present. Hello, I am good. Good. Search for some XYZ string. Not present. Is this simple?
Yes.
Question 5. Let's do it. Come on, this one at least. Uppercase string. Every time make sure you take input, okay? Uppercase string. How to uppercase string? Hello? Is upper. Wow. What you learned yesterday then? Is upper.
No, you just check whether it's uppercase.
No, I want you to uppercase this string. Is upper is used to check whether it is uppercase or lowercase. It will return true or
direct
false.
upper.
Upper of
Upper of. So print
dot upper
Sentence not upper.
dot upper, sentence dot upper.
sentence
Hey, come on. Sentence dot upper. Perfect, looks good. Gautam, see here. Whatever I have typed, it has given me uppercase of that. Looks good. These are all very easy questions. I think you could have done it. But I will not solve few questions now. Which are very easy. Check if a string starts with a given word. Will you do it? Will you do it? Check with us.
Yes.
Take two input from the user. One is the string, one is the sentence, and second one another check word to check. Okay. So it should print whether it is starting with. If it is starting with, you can print something like it is starting with. If it is not starting with, you can print it is not starting with. Now this one. Come on. Find the sum of all the ASCII values in a string. Take input first of all. Enter a string. Perfect. Take input. Find all the ASCII values, sum of all the ASCII values inside this string. How?
Using ORD.
ORD. Perfect.
ORD.
is the function which is used to find. So how do we actually solve? Tell me the program. ORD you told is right. That logic will be there, but how to solve it? I want to find the sum of all the ASCII values that are there inside the function. That are there inside the string.
First, we have to store it in a variable. Then again one variable to add those all ASCII values.
So let's tell me the code.
Enter a string, then
Think of pseudocode and then we'll write code for it. It's very simple. Come on. No one is able to tell it such simple question. That means still you have not learned how to iterate only.
Like the string colon.
String colon.
String empty colon and just square.
First of all, you tell me. I am telling you to find the sum of all the numbers, all the words that. Sum of all the what do you call it as characters that are there in a string. Correct. Sum of all the characters. So whenever they ask you to calculate sum, right, you should always initialize sum as 0 first. Whenever if you asked to calculate some addition of all those kind of things, you should initialize sum as 0. Maybe I'll write sum is a function, I think, so I will not be able to using sum. I can write total 0. My sum will be stored in this variable total. Final sum will be stored in this variable total. So I have to find the sum of all the values. Just think of this. I am telling you to find the sum of all the values or sum of all the letters that are there in a string. That means you will have to first of all iterate over the string, because you want every letter. You want to find the odd of every letter. How will you get every letter of the string? You have to iterate over the string. If you iterate over a string, then only you will get every letter. Now we will check first of all if I is first of all alphabet or not, because we can find the ORD function we can use only on alphabet. If ARD dot is alpha, if it is alphabet, only that time, because the ORD function will not work for something like this. You cannot do ORD of nothing, because a string might contain space also in between. If I enter a sentence like this, enter a sentence, it is containing spaces also in between. If it is containing spaces in between, you don't want to use ORD that time. Check whether I is basically a alpha or not, alphabet or not, because we can use ORD on alphabets. If it is an alphabet, then what you do is, first of all find ORD of I. Whatever the ORD of I is there, that will actually store it. Total is basically equal to whatever the total is there plus ORD of I. Total is equal to total plus ORD of I. Sum is equal to sum plus I. That is the logic. Total is 0, so starting it will be 0. 0 plus ORD of I, so whatever the letter is there, that, then it will be again stored in total variable itself. So let's say the previous total was 5. Now it will do again total plus ORD of I. So 5 plus ORD of whatever value is there, that, then answer whatever will come, again it will store in total. You can print total. See, I doing all these things is not going to help. Okay, you will have to learn to do it on your own. Hello, print the total of this. See here, you got a number which is the total of H, total of E plus total of ORD of L plus ORD of L plus ORD of O. Understand this? Whenever you want to do something on every element of a list, or whenever you want to do something on every letter of a string, you will have to iterate over that list, or you will have to iterate over a string. You will have to use the for loop there. Is this clear?
Yes.
This program is clear for all or no?
Yes.
Anyone who has not understood? Come on, fast. Understood or no, first of all?
Understood.
Yes.
Question number 8. Now tell me how to do it. What I want you to do is split a string on the basis of a given word. For example, if the given string is hello, okay, and if a given word is L, okay, if the given string is hello and if the given word is L, you will split the string where the L is there. So you will first L is there here, right? So you will divide the L string into two halves. One string will be HE, one string will be LLO. Is that clear? If you want to do that, we have one method which is called as partition. Sentence.partition. Partition based upon what? Word. Based upon this word, you partition the sentence. It will just partition the sentence. I will just show you. Hello. Let's say the word is E. Okay, we are not printing it, sorry. It is going to return a new strings, list of strings. It is going to return again a list of strings. Remember this? It's partition it based upon E. See here, it is going to partition it. Wherever E is there, what all it has done? Enter a word E. So wherever E is there, it got yes. Okay. It is going to divide it into halves. Okay. where E is there, right, it will just draw a slash line there. It will split the string into two halves, and the third one will be the E itself, whatever you are dividing it with. Hello man, partition it with space. See here. Hello, and man, divided because I told you to partition it with space. So space was the third string. Good morning. I want to partition it where the D word is there. Okay, D word. So it will be G double O, one string. Second string will be D, all these things. Sorry, from here second string, and D will be the third string. See here, G, D, and remaining words are the next string. Is this clear? You'll be using the word partition if you want to partition based upon some things, and it will give you three strings in return. It is a tuple. See here, seeing the words, seeing the symbol itself, you are understanding that it will return a tuple. Returns a tuple with three values. Okay, one value is basically the splitted half, second value is the another splitted half, and third value is the word which we are partitioning it with. Is this clear? See here.
Yes.
If you are partitioning it with OD is the next string, and GO and this one are basically the two strings. It will return a tuple with three values. Is it done? Is it clear?
Yes.
Find the number of vowels in a string. Come on, let's do it fast. How to do it? How to do it?
Iterating.
Come on, I'll just speak.
Checking and checking.
Your voice is not audible properly. Can someone tell me how to solve this? Come on, you must know it. How to solve, how to find out vowels in this sentence. Print all the vowels. How? I only am answering all the questions. Come on, fast. Hello, you're there? You guys are there? Or no, at least tell me that.
Yes.
Come on, answer then. You don't know?
For A in a sentence,
Perfect, looks good. For A in sentence, next.
same for E-I-O-U.
Sorry, what part? What you told?
Same for E-I-O-U.
Same for, so I'll just write what you are saying. Okay. For A in sentence. Sentence, perfect, looks good. Next. Because see, it's very simple. I'll just tell you one hint. Whenever you want to check, how will you actually check whether it is a vowel or not? First of all, if you want to check whether it is a sentence is having how many vowels, if you want to print all the vowels of the sentence, you will have to first of all go and check every letter. Will you agree? Will you agree with me?
Yes.
You will have to go and check every letter. Not directly seeing the sentence, you will never understand. You will have to go and check every letter, whether the first letter is vowel or not, second letter is vowel or not. And that is how you print it. If you want to go and check to every letter, it's damn so simple. Start a for loop. Anytime, if you want to basically go and check every letter, any problem is there, where you have to go and check to every letter something is there or not. In the last ORD function also, I told you to find the sum of all the letters that are available in a string. ASCII sum of all the letters. All the letters means what? You will have to go and find out the sum of every letter. Every letter, if you are thinking of going and finding, you should basically have that sense for by now that lagao for loop.
For A, E, I, O, U in sentence.
You are telling check if A.
For A, E, I, O, U in sentence.
For A, E, no. Why like this? Okay, something like this. For A, E, I, O, U in sentence. This will not work. Why? Because see here, you are trying to iterate over a sentence, correct? You are trying to move over this sentence. You are trying to run a for loop over a sentence, and the for loop is going to have only one variable, which is going to hold this variable is going to hold every letter of the sentence. See, first of all, you should understand.
If we assign all the vowels to one variable and then check for it.
If you want to check it, you will have to use if condition. Because you know, if you want to check something is there or not, you will not use for loop for it. For loop is just there to iterate. For loop is just there to start from here and reach till here. Just think that there is a pointer which is starting from here, reach, and it has to go to here. It will go here first, next it will go here, next it will go here, go here, go here, go here, go here. It will keep on doing this till it reaches here. For this purpose, for loop is there. That's it. If you want to check something is there or not, you will have to use if condition, because you already know. We already take this. How do we take decision? Whenever you want to take some decision, you will be using if conditions. You got, Snehal?
Yes. If A, which is equals to a sentence, then print it is a whole else.
If A, you can say, is equal to maybe,
Sentence.
sorry, let's not give here A, let's give X. Okay. If A is equal to not sentence, if A is equal to A, or if X is equal to E, or if X is equal to I, O, U, whatever, any of this, or I am using, not and, any of this, if it is there, then print X. You understood? It will
Yes.
check whether, what is this X going to hold? First it is going to hold E. See, a for loop is used for what? First of all, you understand that. For loop is used just to move from start till end, whatever you give. If it is a list, from start till end of list, it will start moving. If it is a string, from start of the letter of the string till the end of the letter of the string, it will start moving like this. If it is a number, range from 1 to something, it will start moving like this. For loop is there just to move or to run over something. That's it. If you want to check something is there or not, this is there, that is there, all those you will have to use if conditions. And don't change the syntax of for loop, okay? For loop syntax is very simple. Just write a word here, a variable here, which is going to hold the value of the current iteration, which is going to hold the value of the current word in this case, or current letter in this case. That's it. And in sentence, that's it. This is simple syntax of for loop. Don't change the syntax of for loop. That's it. And if I run this code, it will print all the vowels that are available inside this. Did you get?
Yes.
I want to print all the consonants. How will you print? Let's see who is little bit.
Else.
Else
Okay,
part.
fine. Else print X. Okay, here I will not print S. Print if X is any of this, then I can say I don't want to do anything, right? Because if X is any of these vowels, I don't want to do anything. Okay, so I can say pass. I don't want to do anything, so I can just say pass. Whenever if any of this x is equal to any of this, I am just saying pass, don't do anything, it will go here. I thought that you might say if x is equal to b, or if x is equal to c, or if x is equal to d, and such you will do till the z. Thank God you did not tell me that answer. So these are all the consonants that are available on this. Simple. You understand the need of for loop, when to use for loop. Don't change the syntax of for loop, but understand when to use for loop, what is the use of for loop. Purpose is very simple, just to iterate, that's it. If you want to take decisions, use if conditions. Come on, this is the last question which you are solving. Frequency of, tomorrow I will show you some lead code. Some difficult questions which your mind will not digest. Frequency of every letter in a string. Little bit difficult. Very simple, not that difficult also. Frequency of every letter in a string. First of all, let's do, okay, so this is auto suggestion. I can show you one magic. Okay, if you want the code, let me do it. Okay, see now what will happen. This I will copy. I don't know the program of this, and now what I will do is I will just write here and just put hash, I will paste it here. Now see what will happen. Come on. That's it. It told the program. Okay, this program will work. This program will work. Okay, I'll just run and show you. Hello. See here, printing all the letters with its frequency. So how did this work? This worked because of AI, artificial intelligence, power of artificial intelligence, auto suggesting code. But sometimes it will make errors also. Don't trust. It will not only suggest some small questions, it will sometimes suggest some good machine learning solutions also. But don't trust. Very bad habit. You will land into some problems. Just 1 minute. Fine. How do we calculate the frequency of the elements? Iterate. Let's take a sentence. Come on, man. Sentence. Let's take a sentence. I don't want to input a sentence right now. I just want to say, hello, this is me. Okay, this is the sentence. I want to find the frequency of every letter. How many times H is occurring, how many times E is occurring, how many times L is occurring, how many times L is occurring, how many times O is occurring, how many times T is occurring, that we want to find. Just iterate, because we want to go over every element, right? Until we don't go to every element, how will you figure out how many times it is occurring? You will have to go to every element and check how many times it is occurring. Use the for loop then, very simple. For X in sentence, very simple. Check whether first of all it is alphabet or not, because if it is not alphabet, it will calculate spaces also. This spaces also it will calculate. Check whether X is alphabet or not first of all. Is alpha. If it is alphabet, then we will use one function which is count. Just say count. Sentence dot count function is there, which is basically used to count. See here, returns the number of overlapping occurrences in a substring. Okay, it is going to check how many times something is going to be occurred. Okay, X is going to be occurred. If X dot is alpha, if it is an alphabet, print sentence dot count X. That means it is going to count how many times X is going to occur in this sentence. In this sentence, how many times X is going to occur? What is X? X is actually a letter, because we are iterating over a for loop. So X is a letter. First iteration X will be H. Second iteration X will be E. Third iteration X will be L. Fourth iteration X will be L. Fifth iteration X will be L. Sorry? What you're saying? I did not understand what you said. Hello?
Voice is breaking.
Oh, voice is breaking. See here, very simple. Count is a function which can check how many times something has occurred inside a string. You can use the function which is count to check how many times something has occurred inside a string. Okay, so you can do sentence. Inside this sentence, check how many times something has occurred. Sentence dot count. Count what? Count x. Count x. X is basically holding letters. First iteration x will hold h. Second iteration x will hold e. Third iteration x will hold l. Fourth iteration x will hold l. Fifth iteration x will hold o. It goes on like this. So x is basically a small letter because we are iterating over this string and you are asking it to check sentence के अंदर कितने count हैं. What count is there? X. How many times this x, whatever the x is going to hold, whichever alphabet it is going to hold, how many times this alphabet is going to occur, how many times it is available inside sentence. Just check here. I have just printed two words. One, I am printing x and I am printing the sentence. How many count it is there? So it is printing h, count 1, e 2 times is there, l 2 times is there, l 2 times is there. Very simple. Is this clear? Who did not understand? Come on, fast, fast, fast. Just like, don't sit like this. Hello? You're able to hear?
Yes.
Then tell me, no, you did not understand, understood what happened. We solved lots of questions. It was fun trying to solve these all. We'll solve difficult. These are all very easy. Did you understand? You must have learned lots of new functions today. Partition function, count function, replace function. Replace is used to replace, partition is to partition. It gives a result of a tuple with 3 values. Partition. Then we learned about count function, which is used to count the occurrences in a string. Did you understood or no?
Yes, understood.
Assignment is solve those 10 questions again one time on your own. Solve those 10 questions again one time. Whatever questions I have solved right now, those only you solve, but solve it on your own. Don't try to take the help of this video. Think if you can do it on your own right now. After watching this lecture also, I know some people will not be able to do it. That's okay, because you are studying right now, right? This is only day 10. So I am telling that it will be a good practice for you. Just try to see if you can do it on your own. And tomorrow we'll see with some difficult ones. We'll try to learn some concepts of other two data structures, sets and this one. And then you see how we'll solve some difficult questions. Strings, arrays, question will be this much big first of all. It will take you 10-15 minutes to read the question. This much big question will be there, then you should solve. Then you should try to write a pseudocode on it. How can I solve it? First question. If you are able to solve it on pen and paper, then we can write code. Writing code is not easy, difficult. Did you understand or no?
Yes.
If you have any doubts,
Yes.
just ask.
Yes.
Just remember the functions and when to use which. Count you will use when you want to count the occurrences. Sentence or whatever the sentence string is there, string dot count, and which occurrence you want to find. That's it. Very simple. What if I twist this question and give you? Find occurrence of a.
गौतम दा मी चलतो माझी
हा.
इंटरनल आहे उद्या स्टडी करायला पाहिजे.
Okay. चल.
Bye.
All the best. Yeah, bye.
थँक्यू.
Find the occurrence of a given letter in a string. How to do this? You tell me. Let's see. If you are able to do this, you have understood it. Find the occurrence of a given letter in a string. I'll give sentence. Sentence is this one. And which occurrence you have to check? Letter is E. You have to check how many times E has occurred in sentence. How to write? Come on, tell this. We'll wind up. We'll finish up today.
For letter in sentence.
For
Wow.
for E in sentence.
For E in sentence. For E in sentence. Then after this. For. Why are you using? No. Snail. Don't try to confuse the syntax of for and if. Okay, so you are actually telling for.
Sorry,
E in
if
sentence. If E in sentence, what you want to say? Print letter
if
is
E in
present.
sentence print
Letter is present. But I did not tell you that question. I told you find the occurrence of a string, occurrence of a letter. Some people told for.
how many times it is occurred, we have to print that, right?
For X in sentence. Okay, after this what? Come on. For X in sentence you told I wrote, but I think that there is no requirement of for X in sentence. Why do I want to iterate over every letter? Right now I don't want to iterate over every letter actually, because I am not finding the occurrences of all the letters. If I wanted to find the occurrences of all the letters, then I have to iterate over every letter and check whether this has occurred or not, this has occurred or not, this has occurred or not. I don't want to find the occurrences of all letters. I want to find only the occurrence of one letter. And which is the function which we use to find the occurrence? Which function we use if you want to find the occurrence of any letter in a string? You are able to hear? Which function we will use? We solved no last question only. Like this, what are you doing?
Count.
Count, no. Then count function is used to find the occurrence. You can just do sentence dot count.
Count of E.
Count of E, what? Count of letter or E. Whatever you are telling is correct. And it will just print the occurrence of count of E in sentence. See here, it is printing 2. Count function is actually used to print the occurrence of a letter, whichever letter you pass here. If you pass here H, it will print the occurrence of H. Sorry, you have to pass like this. It is printing 1, it is correct. It will print the occurrence of whatever letter you are going to pass. Why do you need for loop here? Why we use for loop in this case? Because we wanted to find occurrence of every letter. What you will write here? Sentence dot count here, what you will write? If you wanted to find the occurrence of only one letter, you will write directly that letter here. But if I tell you to find occurrence of every letter, now what you will write here? You don't have, what you will write? You will write first letter H, then you will change and make it E, then you will write L. That way you cannot do. So we want to find the occurrence of every letter, right? So we can use iterate over a for loop. And when we iterate over a for loop over this sentence, right, I will get every letter itself. In this variable, every letter only will be stored. And that variable itself, if I pass here, it will keep on counting the occurrence of every letter. Is that clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Any doubts? Any doubts? You tell me at least yes, or you tell me at least no. So that I understand, at least we should end here. I told something. you guys are sitting as if you don't know to speak. Come on, fast. Yes or no, you tell me. Fine. Okay. Thank you, Snehal. Thank you so much. So that's it for today. We'll wind up. Okay. If you have any doubts, you ask or else you can leave. ऐश्वर्या काय सांगायचं आहे?
नाही नाही, नो डाऊट्स.
फेज झाला?
हा,
फेज
फेज नाही अजून,
ओके ओके
नेक्स्ट वीक मध्ये.
फाईन फाईन करा करा.
तुमचा झाला?
आमचा वेनसडेला आहे.
ओ,
भेटूया प्रोजेक्ट करायच्या टाइमला.
हा,
सारिका ते सगळे आराम आहेत नाही?
सगळे आम्ही,
सारिका,
आमचा
सचिन.
सर्वांचा एकच ग्रुप आहे म्हणजे.
ए तुम्ही फ्रेशर्स करत होता काय करत होता मला काही समजलं नाही.
अरे ते मिक्स झालं, फ्रेशर्स प्लस युथ डे.
ओ असं होतं काय?
मॉर्निंग युथ डे झाला, ते फुल ट्रेडिशनल मध्ये.
मी तेच म्हणाले तुम्ही फ्रेशर्स करायला काय ट्रेडिशनल कुठला तरी सण साजरा करायला सारखं वाटायलंय.
फुल
मी गण्याला नाही याला गण्याने मीच बोलत बसलो. वेट करायला
ते सगळं मिक्स झालेलं, मॉर्निंग आफ्टरनून.
ओके 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 फाईन चालतंय. एनी डाऊट्स आर देअर?
नाही.
फाईन देन. थँक्यू सो मच. यू कॅन लीव.
बाय बाय.
बाय बाय.